Yes! Victory! It finally worked. Okay, awesome. Finally. I'm gonna put this on Instagram. It took me like 30 minutes to get this going. Awesome. Okay. This is weird, but alright, it only took 30 minutes, but we're ready to start streaming. Woo! Stream paradox. It only took 30 minutes, but we're ready to start streaming. Come hang out on twitch.tv/. Go. Done. Awesome. Okay. So all right. Done with that. Okay. So here's the deal for tonight. So as you may have seen on Instagram, I finished that other sofa, the orangey I don't know, it was kind of like sunset colors. So that's done. And so in between like working on those, I'm kind of been like just sort of touching this a little bit. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. I'm gonna start working on a fifth sofa. Actually, it's gonna be a chair tomorrow. My friend Mac from grad school sent me his like this really interesting chair with this like really interesting pattern. So I'm gonna do that. And then I will actually probably be streaming that a bit more during the week than I have been streaming because I got an email from the shelter projects people that the people that I'm sorry, that I got my grant from that I have to send my I have to send my finished images of my project by July 15th. And my goal was to have 10 sofas for this project, but I will hopefully have 5 by July 15th, which is cool because I'm going to keep working on it anyway. We're still, you know, social distancing, so it's still relevant. And I think it'll be cool to have 10. I want more of a diverse, like worldly, more international demographic, I guess. Is that the right word? I don't know. For the sofas. I have the Sunset Sofa from Sophie Margot. She is an artist on Instagram. She was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Shane, like the tall thinking chair with the floral pattern. He's in Western New York, like kind of near Buffalo. Mine, obviously, is in Georgia. And then I have one. The first one that I had made was Julie May, and she is in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, which I think is so cool. Very far away. And then I'll have another one from Georgia that I'm going to start making. And then I have plans to do one from Colorado, one from Paris. Like immediate plans. Yeah, so right now we're just getting the needles ready so I don't have to continuously rub them while we're working so I can just go. But I don't know if you can see. This is a really big piece, so far away. I don't know if you can see this like kind of pink area. That's what we're working on right now. I colored it in with a pencil, so I wouldn't have to look at the map. So this is what we're doing right now. Yep. Okay. Also, the size of this is a lot bigger than some of the other things that I've been working on here. So it's like 30, well, it's on a 36-inch stretcher, I think, like lengthwise. So it's a little bit longer. I don't have room on my table for my computer, so my computer is really far away. So I'm having trouble kind of reaching it, but it will be fine. So also, I really wanted to have like more music on here, but I got a notification. So I am planning on like uploading these to YouTube. I had a relatively interestingly positive response from like the two that I uploaded. I think yeah, 2 or 3 that I uploaded so far on there. And someone was like, "Oh, I wish this was longer." I think it was like 3 hours. She's like, "I wish this was longer." I was like, "Oh." So I got an email from YouTube that I had already got a copyright claim on one of my streams, and dude, like, we're not listening to music here. Like, I don't know what it was. Like, I think we listened to like Aaron Carter once, and then not even the whole song, and maybe like one other thing, and somebody already claimed it. I mean, I'm not monetized on YouTube anyway, so it doesn't matter. I didn't get a strike. I wasn't in trouble. It was just claimed copyright. So we can't listen to music on stream because I plan on uploading these. That was the point of what I was trying to say. So more on this map that you can see. You're familiar with Atlanta. So we have here, oh my God, what direction is this? This is north. This side's north. Down here, this is south. And then this over here would be east. Why does that look so strange? Yeah, east, and then on this side is west. So it's at a weird diagonal. But anyway, so this is 75. Am I looking at this right? Yeah, this is 75. 75, 85, and this is 20. And then 20 east, 20 west. So over here would be like East Atlanta stuff. So that's why it's hard to see actually. No, can't. Ooh, okay, whatever. So Grant Park is here. Is that Grant Park? No, this is Oakland Cemetery, and then Grant Park is just a little bit down here, which you can't see. Okay. Let me fix that. Okay, here we go. That's the way to do it. Okay, so Oakland Cemetery here. Here's Zoo Atlanta. No, this is Zoo Atlanta. This is Grant Park. This is like East Atlanta stuff down here. This is the old Turner Field. It's now Georgia State Field. I don't know. That's the parking lot. I went to Georgia State, by the way, which is over here in this area over here. I went there for undergrad, and so that was parking. I never parked there, but you could walk there from campus. And then I had a studio. This like kind of in this area. There we go. Kind of in this area was where I had a studio. On Flat Shoals, off Flat Shoals Road. Okay, over here is, oh, it's gone now, but this was the Georgia Dome, which is now a parking lot. That was a parking lot for a new stadium that was built right next to it, which is now Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And then we have like the Georgia World Congress Center, which is like a lot of big like conventions and stuff happen there. I've been to several. I mean, I'm sure anyone that's like several conferences there, and other buildings. It is actually, fun fact, the only building that has a train stop directly inside of it. So yeah, you totally can't see, but there is a train track that runs right here. You can kind of see like the threads. Anyway, it runs into this building. Very cool. What else? Spelman College is over here. Traditionally a black college. I think it still is like an all black college, but Spelman. This down here is the airport. Very busy airport. It's an international airport in Atlanta. Oh, and then this gray here is Beltline. So it's a walking, like kind of mixed use trail. So that's the Beltline. And then what else do we have on this side of the map? So again, that was where the dome was. Over here, this is Georgia Tech area. So this color is Georgia Tech area. They had some housing built, which is now dorms, but it was built initially for athletes to stay in when they were staying at the '96 Olympics. And it's directly next to the Olympic Park, which is right here. This is the Centennial Olympic Park. The '96 Olympics were held in Atlanta. Oh, who is this? Yeah. So Tech area, Olympic Park. If you were following anything that was happening with like the protests and the riots, um, the what was that building? They looted completely. Shoot, what was it called? The College Hall of Fame, College Football Hall of Fame. It's right here, like right in this area. That was completely looted. And then their World of Coke is here at Centennial. The aquarium is there at Centennial Olympic Park now. And then also there's the Civil Rights Museum is right there at Centennial as well. Really cool looking building. I used to go to Georgia State. I also had a studio that was over here on the west side. I had stayed there, I think, 2 or 3 years. I can't really remember, but I would drive down Northside Drive, which I think this is Northside, to get to school, and it was often closed because they would do concerts and things like that at Phillips Arena. I remember one time specifically, Beyonce like shut down all the roads, which was love her. She's a diva. What up, Sean? Hi. Cool. Yeah, we're working on maps. Working on the map today. Yeah, this part over here that we're working on, I don't really know too much about this area. I think it's mostly residential. And then the only really real buildings that are visible, the only buildings that are like actually visible are going to be like churches and sort of like main looking like commercial use buildings. So the whole point of this map was like no residential. It was only just like roads and buildings and stuff. So, oh, sorry for bumping you. But yeah, so that's what we're working on today. Yeah, more about the map. So I wish I really knew why I started working on the map. I don't really know. It's not really that helpful in terms of my thesis. I thought I was gonna get like really into like map making and stuff, and like I kind of am. Like I kind of work in that way, like the process of like map making is sort of like how I work in terms of like my artwork. By using like reference photos and like mapping out like colors before I start actually doing them. So I make maps in that way, if you want to call those maps. I don't know. But I really wanted this map to be like the development. Oh, okay. Development of like the city. So I thought it was really interesting that I found this particular map that was Dorian. What? Dorian has his body on the floor, but just his head in his bed. Like, you're so cute. The development of the city. So I wanted it to kind of develop the same way like a city might. So it had the main roads first. And if you like go back to old maps, I'm probably getting my wires crossed right now, but if you go back to like old maps of Atlanta, like old like 1800s, the only roads are these. So just these like crossroads here, like hard to see, like just it was just the pink and orange. I mean, they were on other maps they would be black, but that was like all that existed. And then like 20 and 75. And so as the city got bigger, like those roads got larger and wider, and then more roads filled in, and then more like buildings were built, and then residential, blah, blah, blah. So like the way things kind of developed in that way. how I wanted to develop this map in the same way. And more along the lines of construction, like every time I would work on this map, like every day, which I haven't, I know I haven't done this in a while, but like for a while that when I was working on that every single day, I would take a photo of the front and the back. Not like when I was done with a certain road, not when I was done with like a certain section. It was literally just like done work for the day, and then I would take a photo, kind of just the same way that construction happens. Like they're not done working on a road, but they have to go home and like eat dinner and take a nap or whatever, go to bed, and then come back the next day and kind of continue on the same thing. So I had that sort of like parallel in the work of my city and work of actual cities are built. Yeah, and then I would have photos of everyday work, like a day's work that I could flip through. And I still have plans to have that book done when I finish this, so that you could see like how the back really. I have to flip it over. Does that want to bump anything, or do you bump something? Okay. Just like the back is really important in terms of like how, like how this is created. So lots of dotted lines and solid lines and things tied off and diagonal lines, and I don't know. I feel like the dotted lines, like especially, you can see it, especially like these dotted lines or whatever. Where's that over there? They really feel like pedestrian lines to me, and sort of like, oh my god, I just bumped that really bad. I think it's okay. I don't think it went anywhere. I don't know. Maybe it did. Sort of like how pedestrians use a city. So they may not typically take the main road. Like they might learn like shortcuts, like going through a building to go downstairs. You go out and you're already on the street. That's parallel to the one that you know. So like taking these like shortcuts and stuff is kind of like what I was thinking about, and why I thought that the back was important because it has like more of the use of the city. So that's the map. Okay. All right, more moving on. And then when I also first started working on this, and I was pretty much done with all the main roads, I asked on Instagram like if I should fill in all the roads in between, like all the blocks, like roads in between, like sort of the more less traveled roads, if you will. And it was a major consensus that we would not fill those in. And I actually really love the look of it, like just how the canvas is just kind of flat, and so it really adds like this interesting dimension um, between the blocks. So like the thread has three-dimensionality, so it kind of has like a relief to it, and I think it would be really interesting to try to print this, which probably would not make any sense to anyone who has never done like printmaking at all. But I feel like you should be able to use the texture of this, maybe like covering it and adding ink to it, and just the ink, like when you do a rubbing, like on a sidewalk or like on bricks or something, you can do a rubbing. It would maybe look something like that. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to see what happens when we finish. So yes, and I've made 3 maps, I think. This was the longest, I mean, more like time intensive one. So I just like haven't started on another like large map. Um, I don't know. Is this weird that the camera is over here and I'm like facing this way? So I might be able to actually move the computer over here. I might do that. Um, Otherwise, you're just gonna see like the side of my head. Sorry, zooming out with the homie. The map is looking great. Thank you. Nerd out for sure. That's what's up. Okay. I think I'm gonna move the camera over here, or my computer, I should say. Oh my god. Oh, there's a centipede in here. Shoot. Awesome. It's a really small centipede. I think I'm gonna let it be. I think that's better because then I'm like less likely to knock the computer. It's just so far away. It's so dang far away. I'm not gonna be able to reach it. Sorry. Okay. Getting back in. It's really, really precarious, but that's better. Okay, cool. Cool. So, things. What else can I say about this map? One of the smaller maps that I made. It was one of just. It was a quick one that I made of Athens, like for this, for a show. It was like the Tiny Universe show, and any work submitted. It was an invitational thing, and any work that she just like asked us to like bring stuff that was like 8 by 8 or smaller. So I quickly made a map of Athens that was on an 8-inch hoop, so obviously 8 by 8. Yeah, that was the second one that I made, and then I made like a test version of this that was like really small. It's like 4 inches. It was just the main interchange. Um, but yeah, that was for the 8 by 8 one. Was the Tiny Universe show. I didn't sell it. Like I know a lot of people did sell their work. I did not sell anything at that particular show, but it was nice to be included on in that show. There was a lot of professors' work, like from UGA and also from Georgia State, um, whose work was in it. So it was actually quite an honor to like have work at that show. Joe Perugine, I want to say he's like director of something art related at Georgia State. He had something there. I don't think he sold it. But it was mostly professor wise, it was mostly professors at UGA because obviously it was in Athens, but also Craig Domgoski. Did he? No, I don't think Craig. Did he? I don't remember. That means nothing to you guys. I'm sorry. I'm sure, but anyway. Um, things like okay, so this is kind of I don't know a weird caveat. So like pricing wise, shows and things like that is really tricky because most time, almost pretty much almost every show, they will take 50% commission. So let's say I had work in a show from that lady a couple of weeks before the Tiny Universe show, and I didn't realize that they were gonna like she literally never told me that they were gonna take 50% commission for donation or whatever. So I just priced the works as if I wanted to sell that work, and then I would get that full amount of money. So I think I had a piece that sold, and I was like, yeah, I would like $150 for this, so I priced it at $150. Well, that work sold, and I got like 75 or whatever, and I was like really disappointed because like I wanted 150, not 75, and so it's tricky because you want that amount, but then if they're going to take 50%, so you double the price or whatever, and then it makes it too expensive for people. Like that work would not sell at $300, but I want 150 for it. So like I don't know, what's the solution? Like you just know that you're gonna not make as much money off things. Like I don't know. Like I don't know what the solution is. Um, the Zoo Atlanta, like when I was doing, they did charity auctions. So for a couple of years, for sorry, for a couple of years, I think when I was still in undergrad, maybe after I finished. I think I was still in undergrad. I was doing the Art Gone Wild, like in plein air. Actually, they were really cool. Why did that just fall down? No. Goodness gracious. Dang. Don't fall. Don't fall again. Okay. So when I was doing that, and that's way too high. Whatever. It's too far away. Uh, it was cool because it was like a week of like painting out, like in plein air. Oh, I'm going to be a little bit more zoned out tonight. No worries. Like I'm here for that. I actually would like to get more work done. So, but I'm here and enjoy the talk. Cool. We'll hang out. You can just listen to me talk. That's totally fine. Feel free to chip in with any sort of feedback that you have. I'm here for that as well. Okay, so it was really cool. There was like a week that like a bunch of people. I think the first show, the first exhibit was like 30 or 40 like local Atlanta people. I mean, I think there was at least one girl that was from like Alabama. So I don't know how local we were, but um, for the week, would go to the zoo and hang out um, like at the different exhibits. So like say I wanted to paint just the giraffes, I would sit by the giraffe exhibit and then like people would like come and like see what we were doing. So it's sort of like an advertisement for the auction by like people seeing like what we were doing. Oh, okay. Online shopping for guitars and talking to the girlfriend. Aw. Also, this is a side note, but can you show us all your string colors? Oh, dang. Uh, I can't. I'm actually using them for support for my webcam. Here, I'll put it on Instagram. Do you have hella to choose from? I have stock, but I don't have like every color in like the whole line of colors. I really only have like the colors that I've used a lot of, and it's mostly just like muted colors. I don't have like tons of like the bright colors. Like I don't think I have like a bright blue or like a bright pink because I don't really use those colors. But I'm gonna post it on Instagram so that you can see. Or I'll just send it to you. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. I'll send it to you. I'll send you a video. Okay. Let's see. Here's behind the scenes. I'm using a canvas with like two 5-pound weights to hold this canvas on this cantilever so that my webcam can be directly above so that there's room here. And then these two boxes are my thread, and then each they're organized in color order. But there's two of those here and here. And then I have these boxes here that have just like individual that I have a better idea. They're also in order, like order. So I also know like what colors I have. But I never really know. I haven't figured out a way to figure out to tell myself if I already have stock of something or not without it. Where we're at. Oh, weird. Now you're gonna get this. Send. There you go. Okay, cool. Yes. So for a while during like quarantine and stuff, like we weren't able to go to like like not the grocery store. We were allowed to go to the grocery store, but that was it. We weren't really like Michael's wasn't open, Joann's wasn't open, places where I normally buy embroidery thread. So I really just had to use like what I had like on hand. So in my stock boxes. So that was kind of the thing about the sofas was that like I was limited with the colors or whatever color choices. But now I'm not as limited anymore. But it was a nice way to like save money. by trying to use that. Like I actually really like the idea of actually using like the stock of like embroidery thread instead of like going and buying more every time. Okay, so to continue on what I was saying, so a week of painting, and then we had like I think it was like recommended that we would have like 4 or 5 works for sale at the auction, and we would put them for sale, and we would put like a starting bid, um, and then like maybe like the value that we thought it was. So like we would, if our starting bid was too high, no one would bid on it. So I had to like I figured out after the I think third time that I did it that I needed to put my maybe the second time that I did it. I don't know. I think I did it twice. I can't remember. Maybe it was the second time. The first time I did not sell a single one. I was really disappointed. And the second time I was like, well, I didn't sell anything. I need to like lower my asking price. Like I need to lower my starting bid. Oh, we have a new follower. Oh, that's so exciting. Welcome. What up, girl? Hey. So exciting. I don't know how to say your username. I know it's the same on Instagram. JCM JCMCC. I don't know if there is a way to say that, or it's just like your initials. I don't know. Okay, so starting bid, I lowered it when the second time I did it. Hey, what up? Thanks for coming. I think I had them start at like like $50 or something like that. And so Jessie. I don't think I knew that your name was Jessie. I think I've always just known you as like JCEM. It is your initials. Okay, cool. Nice to meet you. My name's Katharine. I also don't know if my name is what I don't know if my name is on my Instagram either. Yeah, I don't know. Sweet. So anyone watching, Jessie does really cool knitting patterns of like different cool shirts and things like that, like wearable stuff. It's the curse of the username. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's so many people that I like don't necessarily know their name. I just like know them by their like, oh, this is in the frame. Dang, that's annoying. Oh well, I might have to change that. Um, I just know them by their usernames. Up and down, up and down. Still kind of there. Whatever. Anyway, so I did end up selling all of my work at the second show. Didn't sell any the first time, sold it all at the second like auction, right? But because I started my starting bid so low that like I think I made like a total of like $300 or something selling 5 pieces that I spent a ton of time on. And I think most of them were like maybe 2 or 3 of them were oil paintings. And then the rest I think were really, really like some of my favorite watercolor paintings that I've like ever done, which I really miss having them, to be honest. But yeah, I'm still disappointed about that. Like, yes, I know, like, great, the zoo got 50% for like, whatever it is that they're using their money for, but it was a lot of time and supplies and money for me to not make that much money. So I actually didn't do it. I think it kind of like, I kind of was just like, I don't want to do it again. So for a long time I didn't do it, but I really do just like miss the people. Like I really miss the people that work at the zoo. I miss the other artists. Like I'm still friends with them on Instagram, on Facebook. Like we still like um, check up on each other and stuff. Painted Monkey. That's another one. I don't really know his name, just his username, and yet I know him like in real life. Painted Monkey. He does awesome like caricatures, like political cartoons. I'll show y'all. So if you want to check it out, because I think they're so funny. Like he literally does an ink, like pen and ink drawing, like every day of like some sort of political cartoon. Painted John Trotter. Yeah, I knew that. he works at Fernbank as well. So this is his Instagram, if you can see that. It's really hard to show. Is it gonna focus? No. Nope. Anyway, Painted Monkey. So he does some funny ones. I would say he is more liberal. So if that's what you're into, yeah, I like them. They're really good. Every single day he has a new like little political cartoon. They're so good. But I met him at the zoo, so this is actually Willie B. And if you're from Atlanta, then you know that Willie B was the like one of the more famous gorillas um, uh, at the zoo. And there's like a bronze statue of him. So like he like sired a bunch of the gorillas that are currently like still alive at the zoo. So I think it says 20 years ago he died, but what year was that? Yeah, June 1st. It was like the 20-year anniversary of Willie B's death. But yeah, so anyone that's like grew up in Atlanta or like is from Georgia should know, like should remember like Zoo Atlanta and like would remember Willie B. I don't know why I'm talking so much about the zoo today. I don't typically talk about the zoo very much. It just happens to be that way. Jesse, what did you do today or this weekend? Like, what did you do this weekend? What did you get into? Also, did I find out about you through Demelza? Does that seem right? Like Demelza Broche? Is that how I found you on Instagram? I think. I feel like she did like a follow Friday and she posted your work / your account like on her story, and I think that's how I found you. I don't remember. I think that was, if you know Demelza, then that was probably it. Also, I'm curious, like when did you start knitting? And like how did you learn that craft and like I saw you that way. Okay, whatever. Actually got into some burrowing hornets and had to go into an ambulance to a hospital. Oh my god, are you allergic to hornets? Did you have that many hornets? That's crazy. That's really scary. Did you have like anaphylactic shock? Like, oh my god, that's really scary. Are you okay? Do you have like a lot of stings? It was definitely a follow Friday, but I can't remember who posted you. Um, I mean, if you know Demelza, it was probably Demelza. It was a dramatic weekend. Yes. Wow. Are you okay now? Like, I don't know if I already said that. Learned this weekend that I am definitely allergic. Oh no. Yes. Okay. They took great care of me. Oh, that's really good. What hospital did you go to? Also, are you like I don't know. My boyfriend is like so worried about getting injured and then having to go to the hospital and then like catching COVID like at the hospital. So are you worried about, is that something that you were like stressed about, like getting into the ambulance and like going there? Like I know they're pretty much keeping like infected people. I don't know if they still are, but I knew that they were pretty much keeping like infected people in the hospital, and then people that weren't infected, they were being treated like um kind of in like a mobile unit. I don't know if they're still doing that though. Have you ever been stung by like other like things like yellow jackets or bees or anything? And are you like, do you know if you're allergic to those? That's so scary though. Oh, I don't like one hornet. like flying anywhere near me. That would be so scary to have like a ton of them. Atlanta Medical Center on Freedom Parkway and Boulevard. They were great. They kept, oh, I think I know. Yeah, it's like right off the exit, right to the left when you get off like on Freedom and you turn left on Boulevard. I think that is, is that the one? They kept me in an observation area that was COVID free. Unfortunately, they didn't have to admit me further. That's awesome. Hopefully, no COVID. I'm sure you're fine. I'm sure you won't have COVID. That's really scary though. I've never been in an ambulance before. That sounds really traumatic. Also, it sounds really expensive. Oh. Um, this was my first time getting multiple stings, which is why I had the reaction. Okay. Yeah. Oof. Are they itchy? I'm sorry if you don't want to talk about this, but are they like, is it itchy now currently, or did you like have medicine like put on them, or like I'm curious about like what the reaction was like. Like where were you stung and like did they swell up? Did your throat close up? Like what? I don't know. You don't have to tell me if this is like too much, but I'm like, oh my god, I don't know this girl. She's asking me too many questions about my health. Fortunately, I think insurance will help the costs. Yeah, for sure. Was also my first time in ambulance, and I started. Okay, I forgot to ask you that. Started knitting 3 years ago. Wow, that's not very long, and you've gotten like a ton. Like every time, pretty much every day, I think I see you like posting like a new like shirt or whatever, new sweater, new shirt. So you must be really fast. No more itching because they gave me the intense drugs. All the stings were on my legs, but my whole body broke into hives and swelling. Wow, yeah, that is crazy. Speaking of hives, so I have like pretty bad allergies. I get allergy shots. I had to stop because of the whole pandemic thing. Um, but anyway, so like I think I was in high school or something, and I was having like weird allergies. I think I had like an upper respiratory infection or something. So they gave me this inhaler. It's called Flovent. And so they gave me this inhaler, and they couldn't figure out what I was allergic to or like what was going on because like I was getting sick and they thought that I was allergic to chalk dust. And I was like, dude, I've been in school. I was like a junior in high school. It's like, dude, I've been in school for like a million years. This is the first time chalk dust would ever be affecting me. So didn't really think that was what the problem was. So I was like taking the Flovent because I was like getting like allergic to something. So I was like taking the Flovent, it's inhaler. And oh, it was really sad. Dorian's like crying in his sleep. This is a rescue dog. He must have really sad dreams. So I was really sad when he like cries in sleep. Um, don't remember what I was saying. Yes, so I was like taking Flovent and like taking more Flovent because I was still having this reaction and it was getting worse. And so finally, like at the end of the day, I like rode the bus home and then I was like, Dad, I have this. I'm so itchy. I'm so itchy everywhere. And so basically, I had broken out in like a giant hive. Like my entire body became like this like huge hive. And my dad was just like laughing because I could not. And I was like, that's mean. That you shouldn't be laughing because it was awful. It was like painfully itchy because I just like couldn't sit still because like literally like my entire body, front, back, everywhere. But everything was just like covered in this like giant hive and I couldn't sit. And I was just like literally like convulsing because of how itchy it was. So he like took me to the doctor and I found out that I was allergic to Flovent. So now we know. Um, yeah. Okay. Just like you, pleasure of hard hand projects. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so speaking of like hand projects, I was talking to my friend Amanda about like movies and stuff like that. Like she's like talking about I don't know, like dating or whatever, and she's like, this guy really likes movies, but like I don't want to sit and like watch movies. Oh my god. That's so intense. It was intense and it was a long time ago. But now whenever anyone asks me what I'm allergic to, I just say, like medication wise, I just say Flovent. And they all think it's really odd, but so my friend Amanda is like, she's dating, well, like thinking about dating. She's not really dating. She's like thinking about dating, and she's like kind of like thinking about like sort of talking to this guy, and this guy's like, oh, I like movies, and she's like, I like movies too, but like I don't want to just like sit and like watch movies, and um, I agree. Like if I sit and like watch a movie, I have to be in a theater, like with the lights out in a theater, and then I'll sit and watch the movie and enjoy it and pay attention the entire time. But my boyfriend gets so upset with me because I can't sit still and watch a movie. Like he'll like want to sit and watch a movie like on Friday nights or whatever, whenever. And like I cannot, like I just have to be doing something with my hands. Like I'm sure you're the same way. Like I just have to. Like I can't just like sit. I just feel like I'm wasting time if I'm just like sitting and like watching a movie or like watching TV or something. Like I literally cannot sit and watch an entire TV show. Like I have to listen to it. And so whenever I'm like, oh, I watched the second season of Mindhunter, he's like, no, you didn't. You listened to it. I was like, yeah, it's true. So I have to be like doing something whenever like watching TV, or whatever, listening to music, something like that. Something like that. So doing hand projects and stuff like this is perfect. I get to watch all the TV or listen to all the TV that I want and get stuff done. It's productive. Productive. I have to multitask. I'm sure you're the same way. Yep, it's the perfect excuse to watch TV, but to be creative. Yeah, that's great. I love that. I do feel like I have um I don't know, it's not necessarily more time, but like working first like for school and like working on projects, like I'm in grad school, right? Like I shouldn't be like checking off all these like different like shows. Like I watched 12 seasons of Heartland. I've watched like every season of I don't know what else has like a lot of seasons. I don't know, like, but like I shouldn't be like checking off all these seasons like in grad school, but like literally it's just like because I have so much work I have to do, and I just like have to have something visual going on in the background, which only other like visually creative people would understand. So I know that you get that. My boyfriend does not get that. He will, okay. I don't know. This is weird to me as well. This is one of those things that I'm just like, wow, this is a waste of time. I feel bad because he really enjoys it. But listening to music is something that I like, okay. So like he'll wanna like I got him, for example, I got him the Thrice like record store day album, I think last year for his birthday. And he like put it on his like turntable or whatever and just like wanted to sit and listen to it. And I was like, is there anything else that we could be like he just wants to sit and listen to music. Like there's nothing visual happening. He just wants to listen to it. I'm like, oh my God, no, I cannot just like sit and listen to music. That is like the most dreadful thing. Honestly, it's hard for me to even like work on like artwork and listen to music at the same time. Like I have to be in a very specific mood to listen to music while working on artwork. I don't know why. I just have to have something visual. I think maybe it's just because like the mind is just like so visual that it just like overly it just does too much, and so I need something else to like listen to so I can visualize it in my head. So like watching Heartland, or what's something else that a lot of people watch that has a lot of seasons. Uh, Blanking, very very much blanking. Man, I can't think of a single TV show. Oh, okay, Breaking Bad, right? Like there's like 8 seasons or something of Breaking Bad, right? And so like all the characters, or like Weeds was a good one. Like all the characters by like the first couple of episodes. So, like what they look like. Like pretty much like you might have to look up occasionally to see like what they're wearing or whatever for that particular episode. Or like a couple of things, but I can pretty much visualize in my head as I'm working on stuff what is happening. I don't need to watch it. Like I don't need to watch it. I'm visualizing it. So I just need that like extra stimulus to like visualize TV shows like while I'm working on something like creative. I don't know. I listen to music in the car though. I'm all about that. But just sitting and listening to music sound is just like I'm sorry. It is like the most boring thing. Concert is different because you're like watching the musicians and I think that's fascinating. But like just listening to music is not like 0% fun. Like when he plays me a guitar, I'm interested. I'm interested. I will absolutely sit and watch him play guitar for me, but I will not just sit and listen to music the way that he wants to. Like, just listen to the words. I'm like, I can't. I'm not stimulated enough by it. I don't know. But at the same time, I think he's a lot more audio focused than I am because he like really listens to music and like really understands songs, like really understands like the meaning of songs. And I have to say, I have a real problem with like comprehending songs. Like I have no idea. I pretty much just take them at like face value. I'm like, okay, cool. This song was about like sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And he's like, no, it's about dialing 555. Like I don't know. Like it was just something like completely different. I was like, wow, I did not get that. I just don't listen to it. I don't know. I'm just not an audio centric person. But he will get mad at me like we'll be watching something and he like makes me watch it. So like we have to watch it. And so as I'm watching it, I'm like, wow, that was shot so beautifully. Or like, oh, did you see the ad for like Coca-Cola or like whatever it is? Like I'm pointing out all this stuff. And he's like, I don't see that. Like I'm just trying to watch it. I don't know. I enjoy like the art. Oh, what is that? Like a weird. Do you see that? No. There's a bug. Go away. It's a like an ant with wings. I don't think it's a termite. It doesn't really look like a termite to me. I don't really know what termites look like. Go away. Yes, I enjoy like the artistic value of like a really well produced like the art direction of movies just is really important to me. That's actually why I went to art school because I thought I wanted to be an art director. That didn't happen. Yeah, so I went to school for okay, so after high school, this is how I like told my parents that I like wanted to go to art school. So after high school, I went directly to architecture school. Like 19, it was like not the greatest idea to start such an academically like difficult major when I didn't really know like who I was, like what I wanted to do, like et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like just like I was just too young. I wasn't ready for college really. Um, and so did not do that well in college at all. Like it didn't really matter what I don't think it would have mattered what college I would have gone to, like what school I was at, like what my major was. Like it would not have mattered. I just like would not have gone to the classes, so it really didn't matter. Um, I just wasn't ready for it. So pretty much like after two, no, I did a year, took a year off, full year off, and then I like went back and I was like, okay, I'm not really ready for this still. Like I don't think I want to do architecture school anymore. It was like a 5 year program. I was like, I don't think I'm ready for this. And it's interesting too, like side note, most of the people in that program were all like much older. I was the only like I was basically like one of like 3 to 5 people in a 300-person program that was starting it directly after like graduated in May, started in July. Like that was like how little break I had um after high school, like to start architecture school. And I will say that the other four, or however many, in the program that started at the same time, like finished high school, started architecture school. They're all like getting registered as architects now. So I was the only one that like didn't do it. But most of my friends who I'm still friends with, like 11 years later, they're a lot older than I am. So the point of that is just like they were ready. They were ready to start. Like they had done other things. They were ready for architecture school. I just wasn't. Anyway, so I took a year off, went back, realized I didn't want to be an architect, or thought I didn't want to be an architect, and I was like, I want to be an art director. And so I like wrote this whole list up about like what I wanted to do with my life. Nathan! Hello. You spilled your cake. My cake? Spilled your cake. I don't know what that is. What up, Nathan? Thanks for being here. Cheers. Cheersy. I don't know. It looked like a layered cake. I don't know what you're talking about. Cake, layered cake. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. My art, like frosting layers. This? This looks like layers. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes? Oh, it's a map. This is a map. It's roads and stuff. Yeah. The colors mostly in the lines. I can see what you're saying. I was lost. Very lost. It's roads and blocks and buildings and streets and stuff. I know it's a map. I was being obnoxious. Is it obnoxious if I tell you that you spelled obnoxious wrong? Sorry, I know. Yeah, I'm sure you knew it was a map. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So I like wrote up this whole list of like I was gonna tell my parents. I was like, I'm telling my parents that I want to go to art school. And so I like wrote up this whole thing. I like sat them down, which is weird because like I never did that kind of thing. I was like 20, I think, and I was like, I want to be an art director. And you really only need an associate's degree to be an art director, and you really only need to do blah 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 blah. And a lot of people that I've seen in movies like only don't even have any degrees at all. But I want to go to art school, and they're like, cool, you can go to Kennesaw. And I was like, fuck that, I am not going to Kennesaw. So I went to Georgia State, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna go to Georgia State. I'm gonna graduate, and I'm gonna become an art director. Well, I never took a single class relating to this at all. I didn't take any film classes the entire time I was there. Woo, go GSU. Woo! That's where I met Nathan. I met Nathan at Georgia State. He was in grad school, and I was in undergrad. And we took an art history class together. And I didn't take any film classes. I didn't take any graphic design classes. And so when I finished with my DPP and drawing, painting, and printmaking, I was completely not qualified to to be an art director. So even though I enjoy watching movies and enjoying and appreciating the artistic value of the way certain things are shot, I'm not qualified to be an art director. That is the story. It's a long story. Also, what else? Wait, what are you talking about? Um, this got brought up because I was talking about how like when I watch movies, I can't just like sit and watch them. Like I have to, first of all, I have to be doing something, and second of all, when I do watch them, I like overanalyze whatever I'm watching. Um, like a cinematographer, yeah, like a cinematographer. Like in the credits or whatever, like when the credits run, there's like art direction, and then it has like a person. So they do like storyboards, basically like how not necessarily cinematographer, but like how like they decide like how things are going to be shot, and like they work a lot with the director. I would say I don't know. I don't really know what they did clearly. Yeah. Cinematography. I appreciate cinematography. I mean, a production design would be cool too. I'm working with film folks these days. Are you really? What are you doing with film folks these days? If you're interested in film stuff, I'm so interested in film stuff. Oh my god, that would be so cool. I have a couple friends. I don't know. Do you know? I'm sure it's a small world, right? Do you know Jennifer Smither or Teresa Kramer? Both of them, or someone from. I think you might have met him, Brohammer. I don't remember his first name. From what was Brohammer's first name? I don't remember, but he was doing like film production sets. Yes, Brohammer. Yeah, from Strongbox. I feel like the delay is really short today. This is awesome. Yeah, Brohammer. He like does like prop design, prop production and stuff like that. He had a studio, really big studio at Strongbox. I found those Strongbox pics recently. Yeah, that was cool. When we were doing like the big letters and like the sealing of the letters inside, so we didn't have to stand outside in like the 100-degree whatever weather. That was awesome. Did you know? I think we had finished that project, um, but they turned that big open area into Scout Mob. Scout Mob moved in there. I don't even know if Scout Mob is like still around. Like I don't get their emails. I'm working with I don't know what that is. Benoit, Arma Benoit on her show Making Artwork. That sounds awesome. Yeah, it was so freaking hot. It was so hot. Arma Benoit? I don't know. Is that not Benoit? I don't know. I don't know if that's French. A director lady. I got heat stroke. Okay, it was so exhausting when we actually like were setting up like at uh the Zuckerman Museum, like in Kennesaw. Oh my god. I like thought it was gonna be a great idea to wear jeans. Like, oh, it was so hot. I like couldn't do it. Like I know I couldn't do it again. Like I think I did it like a couple of days or whatever, and then I think that I just like stopped like going because I was like I can't. It's too hot. Yeah, it's Benoit. I wore head to toe athletic tech fabrics. I remember you had that hat that had like the back, the neck. It was like it's definitely like something that you'd wear in the desert. It was like a hat with the brim, and then it had like the neck protection so that your neck wouldn't burn. I remember that. Or maybe it was like a bowl, and maybe it was more of like a bucket hat, just like just like that. Yeah. Oh, it was just not a good idea to wear jeans. I was so I was just like too exhausted to like go back. It was just hard work because it was also was like a lot of troubleshooting like when it was already like when we were there, and it was like frustrating. Yeah, I still wear that. Were you okay? Yeah, I think you were wearing it when you were doing your streams last week. How was the lake? Or I guess yeah, was it a lake or was it just the cabin? How was that? How was the cabin? So Nathan, everyone, um, taught me how to set up my stream. And so I have to thank Nathan for all of the help that he gave me to set this up. So thank you, Nathan. Nathan shared it on Instagram. If or no, it's Alienate on Instagram. Alienate. Alienate on Instagram. He does crazy, crazy, crazy contemporary work. A lot of like 3D printing. Right now, he is streaming pretty much every day, doing like painting. Yeah, there, that's it right there. At Alienate. Is that a video? It's too far. It's so far. Yeah, we'll talk later. We'll talk later about like film industry stuff. That would be tight. Um, Jennifer Smither and Teresa Bramer. I know them from like. Oh, that looks beautiful. Cabin time in plein air lake painting. Oh, that looks so good. Wow, that reflection, the reflection on the water from the trees. Wow, that's really interesting. Nathan, that looks so good. Y'all should check that out. Check that link out. Get out. Chat is yelling at you for posting too much. Sorry, it's not me. I didn't do that. Thanks. Yeah, that looks awesome. So Nathan is posting pretty much, or sorry, streaming pretty much every day around noon during the weekdays, except for on Wednesday. I think that's your schedule, except for on Wednesdays. It's your day off. Um, but yeah, he showed me how to set up my stream, so I appreciate that. And anyway, so he does 3D printing stuff on Instagram, the paintings that you're doing on stream, really like contemporary word, I don't know, word objects, art objects with like words, sayings, and things like that. Very interesting. We also have on stream, I don't know if we're still there, but Jessie, she is a knitter. She does knitting. It's really cool. She makes like clothes that she wears herself. And she is so fast. She like makes like one like almost every day. And then Sean, who does mat making as well. So like the theme, mat making. On his Instagram, it is Gradients of Elevation on Instagram. So he does sorry, Sean. Digital painting of different areas, mostly satellite images of like got distracted. Trees. There he is. He says I zoned back in and you were talking about me. Yes. Okay. Gradients of Elevation on Instagram, and then JCEMCC, that's Jessie, and she does knitting. And she says, I swear I'm not that fast, but you are very fast. I see. Maybe it's not every day, but I just feel like every time you post, it's like something new. And maybe it's not that you're posting every day. Okay, I make hillside shade reliefs of areas. Nathan says, what the fuck are the words you just said? I think I was saying letters. I was trying to say Jessie's username, but it's just letters, so it's her initials. Gradients of elevation is literally what Sean does. So yeah, gradients of elevation. Oh, you were asking Sean what words that he just said. That is so funny. You should just go look it up. Just go look it up. It will show you what it is. But I don't know. Where do you get your like satellite images from? Is that through some resource that you have with school, or like where are you getting those? I know you just know back in, but where are you getting those like images from? Like, how do you just like decide like, okay, I want to do Humboldt, and then you just like have an image of Humboldt, or like, hey, like do Alaska, and then you just like have a satellite view of Alaska. Where do you get those from? Okay, if it's a secret, you don't have to say. Back to what I was doing. Over here. They're not satellite images. They're not. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. They're digital elevation models. Oh. And you get them from nationalmapper.gov. Oh, wow. Okay. It's an open source. That's really interesting. I thought it was just like straight up satellite. This changes things. All right. Cool. I worked with geo-map stuff a little in grad school. And then links, question mark, that's Nathan. Um, Also, I remember, I think one of my favorite projects of yours, you do satellites for grad school. Okay, I knew that satellite was like some way related to you. And then John says, if anyone wants to follow my Insta, I'll follow back and we can talk maps. Gradients of elevation on Instagram. Y'all want to check that out. Post like almost every day as well. And it's cool maps with like cool colors. I started using Airsoft photo scan for 3D scanning. From archaeology grads. Okay, y'all can chat. Dude, I am a Aggie Soft master. Use it for the 2 publications I have. Very cool. One's available on Amazon. I think, Nathan, I think one of my favorite projects of yours is it's the spike, the head on the spike. Like the guillotine. That was a really cool project. It was like fully 3D printed and I loved how it was like put together like Lego, so it fit together and was like designed to be in pieces so that you could put it together, so it was big. It was a lot bigger than an actual 3D printer would have been, so that was really neat the way that you designed that. And then you were doing like 3D scanning and stuff. Didn't you do that when you were at VSC, Vermont Studio Center? Yeah, I follow your work. I've followed it for a long time. You were like 3D scanning and then reprinting stuff. Like I want to say maybe it was organic material, so it was more mushy than like a typical like 3D printed object would have been. Something that would have been hard to maybe model in like software. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, you do too. Okay, cool. So I 3D modeled Melissa's head with it once. So is that what that software is? It's like a 3D image scanner. Interesting. There is a link from Nathan. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, scanned a block of grass and dirt, and then you reprinted it. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Very cool. And then I think you do some work where you like stop the print short too, so it doesn't really take the full image. So I feel like okay. Interesting. It's like interesting how it's in the mind of the 3D printer is like becomes the finished work. So it's like the process is evident in the final. I don't know. Yeah. Are you doing any of that stuff anymore? I saw that you're moving out of that studio. Is that Seedworks or Push Push? A plus. Thank you. Where are you going? Where are you moving? If you're moving out of that studio. And then why are you moving out of that studio? It's always sad to move out of studios. Like bittersweet. I did some, yeah, a little while ago with a string embedded inside the print. Okay, yeah, I think I remember that. They're renovating that building, Push Push Arts. Okay, so it is called Push Push. So you can move to a temporary location. Cool. Well, that would be nice. I'm glad that they have the funds to renovate. Like, I think that they were planning on doing that, right? But I don't remember. That was why they were like doing fundraising stuff. That's cool. That'll be exciting. I guess you'll get to move back in when they're done. Question mark. So I can move to a temporary location, but right now I'm broke, so I just moved stuff home. Yeah, I don't blame you. There's a huge development project on the kind of DL. Got it. Like many millions of dollars worth of development. Is this like a gentrification kind of thing? Like the whole city is, or that whole area is going to be different? What is that area even called? Hmm. It's like near the airport. Okay, anti-gentrification. Cool, I like that. Very community involved. Awesome. Very good. Did you ever know, like, I don't remember if you were at Georgia State when she was there, but Jack Michael, did you ever meet her? She used to have a pop-up gallery kind of paper plane that was in that same on that strip. And then I think when she went back to grad school, she closed it. You didn't meet her. She was a printmaker, and then I think in grad school she finished as like a flag maker. That's what she finished. I think she just graduated this past like past May. Not this. Yeah, this past May. Paper plane gallery in the grad program when I was there. That's what I was wondering. I don't remember when she started slash when you finished. I feel like her Instagram handle is like something about gold printmaker or something. I don't remember. I can check. Maybe if you saw her Instagram, you might recognize it. Grease and gold. Jack Michael. This is what she looks like. She's like really into printmaking and motorcycles. She did a project at New Mexico, some residency in New Mexico, where she was doing some work with the border wall. That was like she was weaving the border wall, so it was it was like spokes of the wall. Is that what they're called? Spokes? I don't know. And she was weaving in and out, but they ended up she like took some photos of it. Grease and Grace. It's Grease, like Grease, like motorcycle grease. Grease and gold. Um, just grease and gold. That's it. Took some photos of the project, and then actually, I think because part of it was on the Mexico side, they made her. Yeah, that's it. They made her remove the work. pretty soon after it was installed. But it was really cool. I liked what she was doing. And now she's really into motorcycles, so she does like cross country trips on her motorcycle, like alone. So really cool. Badass chick. And then her husband is a pathologist of some kind. So he looks at a lot of images of blood, like under microscopes and stuff, to determine like pathology. Um, so she has a lot of like just instant like resource material if she ever wanted to do any like work with like the images that he sees like under the microscope. I think that would be the coolest thing, just to have tons of those, like tons of images of that just on hand. So cool. Don't know what pathology is. I think I like her stuff. Yeah. Yes. Very Georgia State. Like these flags are really neat. This is like, that does not focus. Pathology. This is weird. A weird, like, on the top of Google, there's like a COVID-19 alert. If you think you've been exposed to COVID-19 and develop a fever and symptoms such as cough or difficulty breathing, call your. Like, why is that on the top of Google? That's crazy. I mean, I know why, but like images like these is like what he looks at. Like, that would be so cool just to have tons of these images. This is cancer, but there's like other things that he will look at. Yeah, I think that would be really neat to have that job. You have to be really smart though, obviously. Okay, can we talk about that for a second? So not about COVID or whatever, but about just like the program at Georgia State in grad school versus like how I imagine like the differences of. I like her stuff. Ask for some. I bet they're digital. Yeah, I mean, I would. I have like absolutely nothing to do with like it's not necessarily relevant to my research. So, uh, yeah, maybe later. Okay, so I feel like the program at Georgia State is, I don't know, like you can tell me, but I feel like the program at UGA is it like very much favors research based off of identity. I don't know, maybe, I don't know, you tell me how it was at Georgia State, but like I think that they're really interested in work that's about like maybe like the queer condition or the trans condition or just like these different sort of identity things and people that have work that's not necessarily about that. So I know one girl that like makes baskets. In terms of grad school consideration, yes, but also just like what is kind of more favored, more highlighted at the actual school. Um, uh, there's a girl that makes baskets, and her work is a lot about vulnerability. And I don't necessarily like her work is definitely highlighted. Like it's really awesome. She's in grad school, so like they want to like support the grad students or whatever. But I don't necessarily think that she has the same level of like mm, celebrity as someone that would be making work about like their identity, which I feel like both undergrad and grad, like that is encouraged to be making work about your identity. Depends on the department. I think that's like, I mean, I don't know. I think Georgia State actually was still um, department wise, but we're now like the entire school is now interdisciplinary. So um, you don't really have majors anymore. So like painting is like not in first like one thought like painting is not like in anymore um, at UGA. It's all about like sculpture. GSU is interdisciplinary. I don't know. That's what I was asking. At UGA. UGA is interdisciplinary. So like I applied for the painting program, got into the painting program, but then when I got there, by the time they got there, they had like reorganized, and so like we were all just like interdisciplinary, which I was excited about because that means that I could like take classes across all disciplines. So I could take sculpture, woodworking, whatever, which was exciting, but also kind of crippling because um, there was too many options. And yeah, but I mean, I'm glad I had the opportunity. But I don't know. Maybe are you doing grad school at UGA? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't make that clear. But I'm starting my third year in a couple of weeks. My third and final year. Um, okay, that's what I'm curious about because I feel like it's kind of weird. Like I feel like the UGA grad school is kind of weird. And I mean, now that I'm starting my third year, like I think I have a little bit more understanding of like how to navigate. But I was really struggling when I first got there because I really felt like I was being sort of pushed to be more about identity or more about advocacy or more about like, and I just don't necessarily agree with that process, like necessarily agree with that method of grad schooling. I don't know. It's like you're, I don't know. I don't know. This is probably not nice to say, so I'm not gonna say it. So never mind. I was mostly left alone because I came in with some experience and was working so much externally with art and exhibitions and stuff, which was good and bad in different ways. Yeah, I remember you were doing like a lot of stuff like in the community outside of school, more so than like small exhibitions with the school. Good that I got to explore whatever interested me, but bad because I didn't have the mentorship I was looking for. Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. It's like um, they kind of call it like citizenship, and I feel kind of like I don't have the best citizenship with the school. Because I don't really necessarily go to a lot of their like openings. I don't necessarily go to a lot of like I mean I'll go to talks, like I go to artist talks that are like during the weekend stuff, but I typically leave on weekends and I go back to Atlanta. My boyfriend lives there, so I go back to Atlanta. My family lives there. Um, because it is so close, it's like a quick it's an easy enough drive and a lot of people are from out of state, so it's not a quick enough drive for them to just like leave during the weekend. So they do a lot more work with the like as citizens of the school. And yeah, I feel like I've kind of I don't know, I've intentionally sort of not alienated myself, but I've kind of intentionally like unintentionally, intentionally um I don't know, just didn't give myself like the full like I don't necessarily feel like I got a full grad school experience because I am not going to like every opening that they have. But I also just like I don't know. I don't want to drink every single night. Like I just and that's kind of the the atmosphere is like after the opening, then you drink more. You drink at the opening, you drink more, and then you go out to bars and then you smoke cigarettes and drink. And I'm just like not about. I'm just not about that. And so I kind of have sort of strayed away from doing some more of these activities just because it's not necessarily like my thing. Says, yeah, I hear you. There is no right path. Yeah, I can see that. I commuted also, so I didn't go to a lot of the citizenships things either. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was a tricky thing about Georgia State is that it is a commuter campus. And so I kind of felt that way at Georgia State too in undergrad, except for with printmaking. That was like the only time that I really felt like I was like with my people. Painting was just so, it was like in studio alone by yourself at home or wherever I had that studio. But like printmaking, you had to do it there. So that was a very community based thing. You do you, listen to yourself and trust that what you're doing is best for you. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's unfortunate that I'm just really excited to be like getting done. Like I'm really looking forward to being done. Part of it could be that I've just been in school for so long and I'm just ready to like work. But also like I don't know if I want to, I don't know. I just don't want to do another year of it. It sounds terrible. I'm just ready to be done. I love that I have the opportunity. Like I love that I have the opportunity to like work and like make work and there's like the feedback and like academic atmosphere, which I love, which like I'm all about like academic art. I just love it. Wonderful. There are some networking relationships that can be beneficial for sure with the social stuff, but you can also develop those relationships regardless outside of the after hours drinking. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 3 years. I don't know. I think it would have been. I'm glad. I don't know. Half of me is like glad that it's 3 years, and half of me was like, dang, I wish it was two. Because I don't know. There was very many grad schools that are 2 years. There's very many programs that are 3 years. So I like that it was longer. I'm also just I think I'm just tired of just like not having any money. I just want to work and have a job. But the opportunities that come along with grad school are just like really they're just it's just stuff that you really just can't get when you're not like in the academic world. So I just really do love being in the academic world. Let's see. But you can develop those okay, like I did. Folks I liked who were doing interesting things I kept in touch with. Yeah, for sure. I like three. Yeah, 3 years. Yeah, right. I love the research and the art history stuff. Oh yeah. Okay, that art history, that class I took, I don't remember it being that difficult. Like it was hard and there was like a lot of work. And I know that grad students had more work than undergrads did. I know that she would require more from y'all that contemporary art class that we took. But I took an art history class first semester last year. It about killed me. It was like one of the hardest classes that I've ever taken. It was so difficult. There was just so much work. Oh, it wasn't that difficult, but it's really interesting. I thought it was art between the wars, which was absolutely fascinating. So it was like in between World War I and World War II. So it was Paris. It was like in the European countries. So like Paris, France, Germany, Paris, France are the same thing. So France, Germany, a little bit of Russia, Italy. It was just like the countries kind of in that area, and it was just so interesting. But it was like one of the hardest classes. There was just so much involved, so much work. I was like, wow, this is not. I don't remember a class ever being that hard, and I'm really scared because I have to take at least one more art history class this year, and I'm very nervous to have to take that and also work on my thesis. I also had gotten a dog right at the same time that I started taking that class, so that was part of it. Neat. I took a post World War II Japanese art class. That's so cool. Like that's such a niche thing, and I love that they have professors that are like that focus on that. Such like very specific things that they offer those classes, and that is the best when you're learning from someone who is just so deep in the research. Love that. Very interesting. Post World War II. So like that was kind of around the time. I don't know. You tell me if this is right, but for Japan, like post World War II, is that like around the time when they stopped really having like samurai, and they stopped really having like they started letting more um, Western culture into their culture. I think that is interesting time. Sort of that like when they still have like the geishas, but they're like not. They're sort of losing the geisha culture. Oh, opening up was before World War II? Okay, I didn't realize that. Started at the pre-1900s for context. Opening up was pre-World War II, yeah. Edo period. Okay. Sounds like you learned a lot. No, but that contemporary art class with Katharine, don't remember her last name. Um, Morrison? I don't know. I don't remember her last name. That was the first contemporary art class that I'd ever taken, and I was so uninterested in contemporary art. I was like, this is not real art. But then taking that class, it was like, cool. This is cool. Susan Richmond? Yeah, Susan. Why did I think her name was Catherine? Maybe I took a different art class with someone named Catherine. Susan Richmond. Yeah, I guess that was her. My name's Catherine. Yeah, it is. I thought her name was Catherine. Maybe I took a different class with a teacher named Catherine, professor named Catherine. Hmm. Well, anyway, I loved learning about art history, like in the contemporary art history class was so cool. Like I was so unaware of like all the cool stuff that I was like completely turning a blind eye to. Everything that was, I don't know, that was definitely a turning point for me. And right now, while I'm like teaching, I'm teaching 18-year-olds who are just now starting art school. So I'm teaching drawing one. I have been teaching drawing one, I should say. And they're all like freshmen. They're like 18 years old. And I have them present artists every week. Like we have a different student who does a different presentation for art, like artist presentation. And they're so interested in like the cubist, which I mean I am too, but like a lot of uh, Renaissance painters. So I tell them, I'm like, no, they have to be alive or like newly dead. Like I don't want to have any presentations from like dead white guys. That's not what we're here for. So that's because that's all they really know, and that's what they also respect too. Like they're freshmen, so they're thinking like painters, like they want to be painters or whatever, and so they just really think of like traditional painters of like Lamar Dodd and people who paint impressionistic stuff, whatever. Do you bring in your own example, like my example, like me personally, or like do I show them specific contemporary artists? Like your own artist shirt. Yeah. So typically each project, each like main project or whatever, will have references from um, a contemporary artist. Like I show them Miele quite often because I feel like they would recognize that when we do portrait stuff. Um, totally blanking. Uh, the guy that does King Kong portraits. What's his name? He like did King Kong. Oh, I can't remember his name. I'll look it up. I'm blanking. My friend was a model for Kahinde. What? I keep trying to find his painting. Find it. Find it. Send it. Artist who paint. No. Artist who painted King Kong. They're like comedic images. Not comedic, but like they're more like parody images of King Kong. Cannot for the life of me remember his name. But he does just like he paints just like a bunch of monkeys. Oh. Oh, my friend was model. I keep trying to find his painting. He can't find it either. They dated. Ooh, nice. Hmm. I cannot find it for the life of me. No, I'm disappointed. I'm like, yeah, I showed them this artist, and I cannot at all find the name of this artist right now. So whatever. I have it in a book, but I'm not on teaching time. I'm on Hawaiian time. Well, I've gotten a lot done. Not okay. That's okay. We do like animals, so I bring my dog in and they paint my dog, and so I show them artists who paint animals. So begrudgingly, I will show them watercolors from Audubon. Okay, I think you should tweak your overlay colors to fit your work more appropriately. I had the saturation up when I was working the last time because I was working on like um with like I was doing like oranges and stuff, but I just left it as it was. It was like filter for tan. Oh, to fit your work more appropriately, not your cam colors, the graphics. Oh, like orange, like oh, okay. So up there, like these colors, I literally just left it. Yeah, I just left it from whatever the theme was. You don't feel green. What about blue? I feel like an orange pink would probably be better. But yeah, no, that's a good point. I haven't changed that at all. Gradients of elevation. Sean was saying that he was going to make me little like Bitmoji things. Develop that brand. Okay, you're right. I haven't really done much on here at all. I think this is the third or fourth time that I've streamed, so We're still working on it. We're still working on it. Yeah, Sean says I need to do that. I don't know. See, we had to develop my brand together. We should Zoom or something and talk about what you want. I don't know, but we'll figure that out. And then I can also change my colors because I think Nathan's right. The green is definitely, I don't like it. I don't like the graphic at all. I don't like it. I don't know what happened, why there's like the circle square thing on the left and on the right where it says new subscriber and top donation. That is blank. Like it doesn't have the graphic. I don't know why. Yeah, let's talk about that. I would like to have some cool emojis. As I think when Jesse followed, it was just it was like the zombie. It was just like the basic stock image. Oh yeah, so far away. You can't take subscriptions until you are an affiliate. Yeah, I know. I left the zombie in because I like it. I mean, it was exciting when it happened. I was really excited. So I don't really care what the image was at that time, but it doesn't really fit my brand, which is true. Maybe something beagle related since I have a beagle. You can insert your own. Yeah. We went on a hike yesterday to Raven Cliff Falls, which is just sort of in Helen, Georgia. Make a gift from your work or something. Okay, I might be able to do that. And then, of course, I had Dorian, so we were walking. And every single time, another hound dog, like, it doesn't matter where we are. Like, we could be, like, out at a restaurant, not a restaurant, but, like, out at a brewery or something like that. Like, doesn't matter where we are. Anytime we're walking and another person has a beagle or a hound dog of any kind, like, we have to stop and, like, talk, like, every single time. Like, other dogs, like, um, golden retrievers or, like, pit bulls and stuff, like, they're sweet, we'll sniff, but, like, it's just like it's a different I don't know. It's like a weird like culture of like having a hound dog that like people with hound dogs just like have to talk about their hound dogs. Yeah, I do that with Shibas, but my Shiba doesn't like other dogs. That's so funny. What's your dog's name? Do I know this? Lucy. I don't think I knew that actually. That's a cute name though, I like it. Is she like I Love Lucy or is that from something else? Or just because you liked it? Also, did you get Lucy or did Mona get Lucy? Whose dog was Lucy? Or was it like joint? She's red. Also Lucifer. That's hilarious. I call Dorian like Hodor. That's his nickname. Because he will stop directly in front of you in doorways. Or like say we're hiking and there's like the trail gets really small between a tree and something else. Dorian just like stops directly in the like in that way because he won't go behind me. He's really weird about that. He won't walk behind me. So he like walks right in front of me, but I have to stop because like only one of us will fit through the small space. But he just stops because he's like, "Why aren't we walking anymore?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we can't because you stopped in the door, Dorian, Hodor." Every time, pretty much every time. Um, she's red, also Lucifer. I got Lucy, but Mona and I bonded over Shiba's, because she had an old black and tan Shiba. Oh, so sweet. Also, Dorian is also called Eeyore sometimes because he just looks sad all the time. And then also Dory. But mostly Hodor. Hold the door. Hold the door. That was such a good show. I'm so sad it's over. I'm so sad it ended the way that it did. I'm so sad that it's over. But because Dorian is so sweet, he doesn't like fight back. Like he doesn't have any fight in him. So he's gotten bit by a dog now twice in like 2 weeks, like 2 separate weeks. Like one weekend he got bit by a dog, which didn't break the skin at all because that dog was a little bit older. But he was attacked by this dog and was bit, and then he was fine. But then the next weekend he was bit by a dog that was a little bit younger. So he still has it, a huge gash, like deep gash in his arm from that attack, which was really sad. But he doesn't fight back. Like he doesn't like snap back. He just is like, oh, like he just like lets anything, like he just lets stuff happen to him. Like I think I posted it onto our Cat the Dog Mom Instagram. Like I put his leash, like the leash has a handle. I just like put it over his head, and he just sat there with it on his head. He like didn't try to like paw it off. He was just like, this is my life now. Like he will just let anything happen to him. It's the weirdest thing. And they were saying that when I got him, like he had a cone because he had been neutered. He just lets the cone go on him, and he's like, this is fine. Like he doesn't like he just will let anything happen to him. It's the weirdest thing. But yeah, the whole like the dog attack, like I wasn't so worried about the wound, like like he'll heal. We went to the vet, we got antibiotics, they shaved a patch so it would heal better. I was more just concerned of like him being afraid of like other dogs, like his mental state, because he already has a delicate mental state. So but like I don't know, it seems that he still is interested in other dogs. Like he's not like turned off to dogs or whatever. So that's what happened with Lucy. She was attacked. She loved dogs as a baby, and then she was like attacked by a mean one. Is that what happened? Oh, that's so sad. That's really, yeah. I really don't want that to happen. Yeah. Oh, uh, Din got bowled over by two big dogs in a dog park. Oh, so now she has strict boundaries. It's so funny. What did I do here? Oh, I messed up. Oh well, it's fine. Um, yeah, that I was just more concerned about that. But based on our past weekend, like, he was sniffing other dogs and he was fine. So as long as other dogs are nice. But I also feel like, okay, so for a while with like COVID or whatever, like they were saying like you can transfer COVID to your dog through your dog, and then they were saying like, oh, it's fine, like you won't transfer COVID through your dog, and your dog can't get COVID, but like it's everything is just like really like. So for a while, I was just like, let's not. I don't want him to really meet other dogs. So for a while, like we would pass other dogs, and I would be like holding, the leash. I was like, don't come near me, like don't come near me or my dog, like just stay away. And people just like let their dog just like run right up. I'm just like, can't you see? I'm like, what if my dog was aggressive? Like I'm trying to protect you. I don't know. People are just so weird about that kind of stuff. But most of the time, what happens is like other people will let their dog just like come right up to my dog, and then they will like be mean to my dog. It's like, don't you know your dog is mean? Like keep it away. Like Dorian is maybe a little bit beta or something. I don't know. Like so other dogs just like want to kind of assert their dominance on him, and I don't know. I'm just like, can't you just keep your dog away? He's very friendly, so we never have any issues at dog parks. He is perfect at whenever we go do boarding. Like he's really good at daycare. He's perfect. He's very friendly, very sweet. It's just we've had to kind of avoid other dogs because of COVID, and so yeah, I don't know. No, she has strict boundaries. That's funny. Um, yeah, that was yesterday. We went on a hike to Raven Cliff Falls. It was really cool. I'd never been there. It was really muddy. It was like a pretty easy hike. It was just very muddy. And then the end of it, kind of like the main event or whatever, like the okay, bedtime for old people. Okay. Bye, Nathan. Thanks for hanging out. Are you streaming in the morning at 12 or in the afternoon at 12? And what are you are you back home? Yes. Okay, cool. Awesome. I'll try to make it. I have bar in the morning at 10, so I'll try to hang out after. Thanks for coming. I'll work on my brand. Okay, so at the end of this hike, it is this like waterfall that's like hidden in between these two cliffs. So there's like there, I don't know. The trail will potentially go all the way up. It just got really really steep and Dorian couldn't do it, and it was too muddy. But it was really cool the way that the two cliffs, like you could potentially climb them, like rock climb them if they weren't wet, because they were really interestingly like stepped, 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 and like weird flake. So it had really like lots of right angles, if that makes sense. And then in between the two cliffs was the waterfall. So yeah, and then there was a third cliff, which is what you were standing on. So the waterfall went between the two cliffs and then down and then around the cliff that you were standing on when you got there. So it was like almost like a cavern, sort of like a cave. It could have been like a cave kind of thing. It was really cool. Neat, neat, neat. We've been going to a lot of we've done a lot of the Appalachian Trail recently. We've been doing section hikes of the Appalachian Trail. Just like really very short day hikes, nothing long, like nothing more than like 5 miles or so. Just a couple of hours out and back, and that has been really cool. And it's just been a lot of mountains recently, a lot of ticks actually, a lot of ticks recently. So it was cool to go to that particular hike because it was right along the river pretty much the whole time, and the foliage is just so different there than it is when you're on like a granite mountain. So there's a lot. I don't know. I want to say they kind of looked like mangrove sort of foliage, but I think what I was told is that they're mountain laurel. And it was just nice to have some change in scenery that's a little bit more lush as opposed to just like the typical like pine trees that you see when you're on a mountain hike. That was yesterday. Oh, cool, super cool news. So on Friday, I took Dorian on a walk slash run, and I really didn't really want to go. I was like tired. I was like, I don't really feel like going. But I was like, you know what? What if we find money on our hike? Like legitimately, I literally had this thought. I was like, what if we find money on our hike or on our walk? Sorry. And lo and behold, we had gone like a mile in, and I found $10. I found a $10 bill just like on the ground, which like never happens to me. Like I never find, I mean, I have in my life found money, but like it's not something that happens very often. And so the one day I was like, oh, we should definitely go because like, what if I find money on the ground? And we found money. Like that will never happen again. I'll never be able to like manifest $10 on the ground ever again. But like, how crazy is that? That was so cool. I like took a picture of it and I was like, do you think this has anthrax on it? I sent it to my boyfriend. Then when I got home, I washed it in the sink. Like washed it with soap and water. Yep. Pretty cool. Really exciting. Basically we made like $10 an hour for walking. And it was like, oh. And then I had the realization, I was like, oh, I should sign up for that dog wag or whatever it's called, wag, the dog walking service where you can just like go walk people's dogs for however much money. Like, I should do that. I need a job right now. I don't have a job. I'm gonna go walk people's dogs. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see if I feel like it. Right now, I'm trying to make this my job. This Twitch thing. I mean, I don't say. I don't mean to say right now, but like the long haul of like trying to make this my job. Also, okay, I'm considering doing this on Twitch. But I've had some interest over the past, I don't know, couple years, couple months, whatever, to do patterns for like kits, like patterns for embroidery kits. So I think what I've discovered, how I would, or what I've determined in the research, how I would want to do it is to scan the patterns, clean them up, print them, have them printed on fabric, which I've like done the research and figured out like what fabric I would want, who I'd want printing them. I know how much it would cost to do this, and how much money I would be making, how I figured out how much I would price them for, and all that. And I haven't started it yet, and it was something that I was like, this would have been a perfect thing to do starting of COVID, like at the beginning of COVID, because I had all this time at home to do this, and I still haven't done it. And it's something that I've been wanting to do, and then there is interest for it. There's like a demand for it. Oh, huh. So funny that you willed the money to be there. Patterns for kits would be awesome. Thanks for keeping me company while I worked on knitting a sock tonight. Yes. Awesome. Can't wait to see your socks. Going to head to bed. Thank you for coming to hang out. I know I started kind of late, and I know some people have early mornings, so cheers. Thank you very much, Jessie. Thank you for coming. Yeah. So what I'm wondering for kits though, like I need to figure out a way to fund it. That's the thing. So I was like, should I do a GoFundMe? Should I do a Kickstarter? And so I was like doing different research on that, and like the GoFundMe, you just get money, and it's a little bit harder to like do the one-to-one. Like if you donate this amount, you get this much. So it makes more sense. Oh, Melissa, what up, girl? I just hopped on in less than seconds, but the map looks beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Sean's here too. He's not really here. He's just listening. So, I think he's here. I don't know. Yeah. So a GoFundMe would mean just like making money, but it's hard to kind of equate. Like, I want people to essentially be pre-ordering. So, no, you're fine. Totally fine. Don't worry. Like, I know that you're here. I appreciate you being here. Sean, sorry. I want it to be like pre-orders. That way I know how many kits to make or how many like patterns to order or whatever it is. So like I think it makes sense to do the Kickstarter because then people can order like they donate, you know, you're basically buying a product. So like you order a certain amount or whatever it is, and then you are able to then know exactly how many kits that you need, how many patterns to make, all that stuff. The caveat with the Kickstarter is that you have to reach your goal. path to reach your goal. So if you don't reach your goal, then you don't get any of the money. So it's really like, should I do that? Should I not do that? Should I do the GoFundMe? I don't know. So there's like two. That's what I'm stuck on. Is like the GoFundMe versus the Kickstarter. So, but at the same time too, with the Kickstarter, the products have to be pretty much ready to go. Like I have to be at the point where I'm like, okay, I need to start printing these. How many do I need? Let's do the Kickstarter. But I haven't done any of the scanning of the patterns, any of the preparation. I would probably need to make like, I have the patterns already. It's like stuff that I've already like made before, but I don't know how much like thread each of them really would have used. So I kind of have to redo them. And so that's why COVID time, quarantine would have been perfect to do this. So I could so I could remake the patterns, the samples, figure out how many like thread schemes I would need for like each pattern, and then document that. So then I know like when someone's ordering a kit, I can provide them with the right amount of thread. So yeah. And so I need to do that. I need to scan them in and get them ready and cleaned up and turned into vectors or whatever and get them ready to print. I just haven't done it yet. It's just a lot of work. But it's like I feel like it would be a really good like business plan, like actual job. So maybe I will start doing that now that I'm like thinking about it again. Maybe I will. I'm gonna make one more sofa project or whatever, one more for the project because I have to have that turned in by the 15th of July. So maybe like one more, and then after that, maybe I could start working on that project, on my business. Start working on my business. And then I guess why I'm bringing that up is because I would probably be working on that on Twitch. So, ways to make money that also is beneficial for other people. And there would be the option of like, say someone already has needles, thread, they know where to get thread, whatever, and so they could just order the pattern, which would be cheaper. So you just order the pattern, which is printed directly on fabric. You'd also just order the PDF and print it out and transfer it on your own. So like there would be different like tiers of like I don't know what the word would be. Difficulty, I guess. The cheaper it would be, the more work that you would have to do. The more expensive it would be, the less work that you'd have to do, as all things are, I guess. But I had that all worked out, and then I just haven't started it yet. But I really want to. I think it would be really cool. Right, Dorian? He's sleeping. I picked up his anxiety medicine from the grocery store today. Got his prescription refilled. So we won't miss a single day. I'll take his anxiety medicine every day. Not that it really helps that much, but whatever. It does something. I don't know what, but it does something. Also, I bump that thing every time. So, my job that I was supposed to have this summer or whatever, I took a job. I was offered / and took a job at Color Wheel Studio. It's like a kids, potentially it's like a kids summer camp that goes all year round and does like projects every week or every day with kids. And I was supposed to start that in June, and I got a phone call 2 weeks ago now, Sunday. So like almost exactly 2 weeks ago, that I would not be starting in June. And I do also know that I will not be starting the first week of July because that's this week. So I don't think I'm actually going to be working at all at that job because I still haven't gotten a phone call to let me know if I'll be starting the second week of July. So that's really disappointing because I really wanted to work there actually. It's in Decatur, so I can show you where that is on my map. Down here. It's pretty far away it's like an hour away from where I live, so there's benefit in not having to drive and deal with all that, but I still wanted to make some money this summer. Oh well, oh well. Oh, Melissa, I'm sorry to hear that. That's okay. It's okay. I've gotten like really used to just staying at home. I was almost like when I thought I was going to be working like the next day or whatever, and then it was like 2 days before I thought I was going to be working, I got a phone call that I wasn't going to be working. And so I was kind of just like, dang, I really just like want to stay home and like embroider and hang out with my dog and stuff. But at the same time, I was like, I really do just like want a job. And so I was like, it was a bittersweet phone call, like being notified that I wasn't going to start working. Also, um, I was trying to figure out when I was going to be working. So it was basically like a 40-hour week. So would have been from like 10 to 6 every day, like Monday through Friday, or like 11 to 7, 5 days a week. And I have a membership at my bar studio, which is here in Athens, and it doesn't like cross over to other studios. Like I can't go take studio class at studio in Atlanta. It's only at this one studio here, and it's expensive. I mean, it's almost $200 to take for the entire month. It's unlimited, so I can go as many times as I want to. But it's not realistic to get multiple memberships at many studios. So I was like, how am I going to be able to continue going to bar and also work like 40 hours? I'm like, am I going to have to go to the 6 a.m. class like every day? Like, I guess I will have to do what I got to do. But I was nervous that I wasn't really going to be able to do that. I was like, I'm going to be too tired. So again, it was just like another like benefit of like not having to work. I can go to like the bar class whenever I want to. But at the same time, I'm still not making any money. I'm just spending money. So again, it's just a blessing and a curse. And it is fortunate that I did get the grant for those projects, the shelter projects, the sofas. So I was happy to get that micro grant. It was for the month of beginning of June. I got it. It was just one time grant. It was $500 for that project for like supplies and stuff like that, which is really nice that I had that. And I did get confirmation that I got a scholarship for the fall. So I have pretty much all my fees will be covered starting the semester. So that's nice. That's like $2,000, and I think we'll only end up having to pay like $100. So I mean, my tuition is waived. I'm sure y'all's is as well at Humboldt. I don't really know how it works there for y'all with your assistantship. your tuition waiver. I don't know if you have a tuition waiver. We do. I don't know why we do, but we do. Um, pretty much all of fine art grads have tuition waived, and we all have assistantships, so we all like make a certain amount of money. Not very much, but we all make some amount of money. So we're also gaining experience by teaching. And then they pay us like a small amount, like a small stipend, is basically what it is. And that's how that works. But we still end up having fees. So we have to pay like the green fee, the special institution fee, the recreation fee, the transportation fee, like all these fees. And it ends up being like last semester was like 2,000. It was like $2,100, which is still a lot, like still a lot of money to pay for a free semester, right? Like I thought it was gonna be free, but then you're having to pay all this. So it's really nice to have a scholarship, so I won't have to pay at all for this semester coming up. So that's nice. Oh, that's awesome! Dollar, dollar, dollar. Yeah, it's really exciting. It is the first time at UGA that I've gotten a scholarship. So I applied for a scholarship beginning of last year, and I did not get one. So it was really nice starting my third year that I will have a scholarship for the semester. So yeah, like that. I wish I could show y'all Dorian. He looks so cute. Maybe I can show you. Should I take this off? Should I do it? He's so cute. Okay. Dorian. There he is. Oh, that was cute. Thank you. It's so cute. Okay, how did I have this? What are we stuck on? Whoa! That's my room. I can't believe that plant. I just noticed that plant is still alive, and I've not watered it. I don't think at all this month. So I don't know how it's still alive. Here, here. I literally have it clipped on with just a binder clip, a really big binder clip, and it does the trick. Yes, Melissa, do y'all have assistantships and like tuition waivers and all that stuff at Humboldt for grads? Like research? You do, right? Like I think I remember Sean saying that like he does some sort of lab, quote unquote, lab research for his assistantship. I think I remember him saying that. Do you also? Trying to think of another story to tell you guys. Oh, okay. Okay. Kind of project is funded, so we get paid for 40 hours a week. Dang, over the summer, 20 hours during the semester. Dang. But we aren't eligible for tuition waivers. I wonder how that like works out, like if it equals out or whatever, like having to pay tuition. I don't know. That's crazy that you guys work that many hours. We're only getting paid for 13 hours. That stresses me out thinking about that. Like that's all. I want to work so much more than that. But it really just comes down to teaching. So I end up teaching like 6 hours a week or something like that. And then we're expected to do like tasks periodically, painting the classroom and taking inventory, stuff like that. Which brings me to my next story. So, okay, we got emails recently of like return to campus. So apparently we're supposed to be going back to campus to like face-to-face instruction back to campus on the 20th of August. So like almost a month and a half, a little more than a month and a half away. At the same time, we got emails that were like from the Disability Resource Center office. We all got emails, like grad students all got emails of like submit any sort of special accommodations that you would need in terms of like COVID. So I think they were citing things like if you have an autoimmune disease or if like, I don't know, just other things like that you would not normally have to disclose. They were saying like if COVID can put these things at risk that you might need like special accommodations for. So they asked us to submit that. I didn't have anything to submit, so I didn't submit anything. And then following that, we also got an email that was only for grad students from the actual like grad student what is it called? Club. It's not a club. Organization. That was like a survey. That was like, how do you feel about going back to campus? Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think we're putting like the right steps in place? Like all like a ton of things of like, how do you feel about people coming back to Athens? Athens has very little cases. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're taking the proper like precautions? So my response to that survey was like, I don't think that it makes a lot of sense for people to come back to campus because people come back. Athens doesn't have a lot of cases. It's true because they basically closed Athens way before Atlanta closed. They closed Athens. We had spring break, and they basically told people, which I think was the first week of March, they told people not to come back to campus. So a lot of people were going to like Miami or wherever for spring break, and they basically just asked people not to come back. And then so that was a week, and then they asked everyone to just like do no instruction for 2 weeks. So 3 weeks that they were not supposed to come back again. And then they decided that we would do just online instruction for the rest of the semester. So basically, they closed all of the sorority and fraternity houses. They closed all the dorms. A lot of the on-campus housing was closed so that people would not be coming back to Athens and bringing their COVID with them. And it was very effective. Like no one, like campus, like I haven't been on campus since before spring break, and so I haven't been able to get into my studio. Blah 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 blah. Annoying, but whatever. Um, but it's been beneficial because a lot of people, like Athens, has a very small number of cases, and so now that they're going to be starting school again, and now also that like all of this is happening with like a lot of cases are ramping back up, that the international school that UGA is, like people are going to be coming from all over the world to go back to school. And so I don't think it's going to be a good idea for the school. I don't think it's going to be a good idea for the community to have all these people coming back in. Yeah, we need it economically. Like we need a lot of Athens economic stimulus is from students. So we technically do. We like I'm only a resident because I'm a student. So, but I live here. I live in an apartment. I don't live on campus. So I'm technically a resident. So like we technically do need like the stimulus from the students, but also we don't need the COVID from the students coming back. So that was what I put on my survey. At the same time, doing the online instruction at the end of last semester was so difficult. I just like kind of pretty much checked out. I was checked out because of COVID, but I was like pretty much just like checked out, and I was definitely like I was not like the best teacher that I could have been. I'm dying of thirst. And so I really do just do better teaching drawing in person. It's just easier to teach drawing to students in person. It's not something that's easy to teach online. However, now that I have this set up, this thing is going to be really helpful because they've told us that after Thanksgiving that we're doing online instruction. Like, what? That makes that no. Okay. The school semester has always been like you have Thanksgiving break, you have like 1 week of classes, and then you have finals. Like 1 week is not gonna like what like why? Keeping students home for 1 week is not gonna make any difference. I just think that's retarded. Whatever, man. I don't think truly, I don't think that we should be going back at all, like to face-to-face instruction. However, as I mentioned, it would be a lot easier for me as an instructor to teach students face-to-face. Oh no, it's weird. It's like a double-edged sword. So part of the email, one of the emails that we received was like, return to campus. You'll receive your 2 washable face masks and thermometer in the mail. No actions will need to be taken by you unless you need to update your address, your mailing address. So that's cool. They've invested in 2 face masks per student, staff, and faculty member, and 1 thermometer. So that's cool. Truly, a lot of people, like I still am wearing a face mask. I feel like I'm being responsible. I'm still wearing a face mask, like to go to the grocery store, to go to, where'd they go? Bath and Body Works. Like wherever I'm going, I'm using a face mask. But at the grocery store, I would say at this point, 25% of people are wearing face masks. Not, I mean, every employee is, but like the people that are actually going to stores, they're not wearing them. They're not wearing them here. And so by telling students like, here's your 2 face masks, like that's, I mean, if people aren't wearing them, if you're not forcing people to wear them, like how is that going to help? And at the same time, a face mask is not a cure-all. Like it doesn't fix everything. I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. The class that I am scheduled to teach is I think I've mentioned this before. It's on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6:30 to 9:15 at night. So it's a easy time to get to. So that's cool. I'm interested to see how that's gonna go. They were giving us the option to do full face to face, only face to face. There's like a hybrid flex, and then just like a hybrid class. So like the option of 50% of the class comes to class, the other 50% watches the class on Zoom, and then they swap like each day. Then there's hybrid. So then like 100% of the class comes one day, the second day of class is online. That's another option. Or there's only online, but not every instructor is allowed to do that. Only like people that have been approved can do that. I have not been approved to do that. It's like only faculty. So there's options, but I think for me it just makes more sense just to go full face to face. I'm getting tired. Oh my god, it's midnight already. I'm tired. I'm gonna go. I have early bar class at 9:30, and I've literally gotten like 7 hours of sleep like all last week. So I'm gonna go. But thanks for hanging out. Yeah. Um, I'm gonna. Oh, like I said, so I mentioned earlier. I'm starting my 5th sofa for the Sheltering Project sofa project tomorrow, and I'm going to be streaming that probably more. Thanks, Melissa. Good night. More this week. So more of like the actual process, like transferring of the image and like all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be doing that more on stream. And then I'll actually be like starting it. So it's less of just like in and out, and more of like different. So that's going to be this week. And I'm actually going to actively try to actively stream during the week and not just like once a week. So anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. I super appreciate you, Melissa and Sean, and then extra person that's also on. Thank you for hanging out. I will post on Instagram obviously when we're going live. So see you then. Bye. I'm far away.